Hello everybody and welcome back, and this is chapter 7 of Creepypasta story. Let's get into it. There's no picture. Thank you guys so much. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much. I'm recording these in session and everything else, and also hopefully, anyway, let's just get on to the next one. It took a whole month for Crystal to get fully healthy, and her family doctor still couldn't tell them what sickness had gotten, or even how she had gotten it in the first place. Suspicious. But Crystal really didn't care. She was just super glad to be well again, and she couldn't wait to see Zach again. She hadn't seen him since she had finally gotten better and back to life. She just knew that he would come back. As Crystal waited for him, she went about her day and also began going around collecting school and local newspapers from weeks ago, just in case Zach couldn't find them, just in case Zach could find them useful at all, and putting them on the floor by his desk. She couldn't, because she didn't want to mess anything up. She really hoped that someday she could be as good as Zach at knowing what to look for, but as of right now, she could just have to look and listen and learn. She looked outside and saw the sun setting, and then headed down to help her mother with supper. Later that night, Crystal was asleep in her bed when she was awakened by a noise. Sitting up and looked around, she spotted a silhouette of a figure in the middle of her room. "Zach? Zach?" she asked hesitantly, sitting up more. "Yeah, it's me." His voice came from the dark. "Sorry, love. I always seem to catch you either going to bed or in bed. Bad timing. Sorry, love. I'm sorry. Going to bed or in bed. Bad timing. I'm sorry, love. Love, I'm sorry." Crystal stood up. "It's fine," she told him, smiling. "I've been wanting to see you. I'm glad you came, and I'm sorry for getting sick and for you not being able to see me or even get to your desk stuff," Crystal told him, feeling that she owed him an apology. He stepped closer to her. "Never mind that. That wasn't your fault. But you're okay now, right?" Crystal nodded. "Yes, I'm all better now, and I'm perfectly healthy now, thanks." "Do you know how you got sick?" Zach asked. Crystal shook her head. "No clue. Our doctor didn't know either, but it's okay. The point is that I'm all better now, right?" "Yeah," Zach said, not sounding too or fully convinced about it. He looked as though he was going to turn away, but then he stopped himself, stepped closer to her, and then took his hand and gently ran it through her hair, looking at her in the face as he spoke again this time, sounding so different. God, it's true what Jack had said about not really appreciating or wanting something until it had been taken away from you. He sounded so lost and so far away, his voice barely a whisper. Crystal didn't know what any of that meant, and she also didn't know why she was letting Zach touch her hair, but for some reason she didn't pull away. She just stood there transfixed on it. Zach straightened and pulled his hand away, looking from her, and stared at the floor hard. After a moment he looked back up at her, and his expression changed as his eyes kept going to her lips, and she wondered, was Zach going to kiss her? His expression changed again, and he tore his gaze away from her a little too quickly. You should go to bed," he said, sounding a bit more rough. "I'm going to be over here going through some stuff, so I'll be here all night long, love. You get some sleep." Crystal nodded wearily. "I got you some newspapers while you were gone. They're on the floor over there, if you want to take a look at them." Zach looked and nodded, then turned back to her. "Thank you. Now go to bed. That's an order," he told her gently but firmly. Crystal nodded wearily and climbed back into bed, snuggling under the covers. She was soon falling back into sleep, but as she still drifted, she kept trying to sneak peeks at Zach through her half-closed eyes. She could see him turn the desk chair away from the desk and sit down in it, now facing her, watching her as she tried to sleep. But somehow, unlike before, she wasn't frightened or afraid about it anymore. In fact, she felt comforted by it. She felt safe knowing that he was looking after her, protecting her, she thought comfortably. And that's chapter 7. So, onward to the next chapter. See you guys in the next one.